Yesterday, we had a client come into our office who is purchasing real estate, and that client elected to transfer all of that real estate into individual trust, as well as create an LLC, which is going to serve as the company which receives all of the write-offs for those properties. However, instead of owning the real property in the name of the LLC, the owner of the property elected to transfer them into the names of revocable living trust. This is a strategy which is called the separation of cross liability. When an LLC owns real property, if something bad happens at the real property, it also happens to all the finances and everything that's associated with the LLC. One of the other important reasons for doing this is because the owner of those properties potentially wants different things to happen with each one of those pieces of real estate. So by having a separate individualized revocable living trust as the owner of each one of those individual pieces of property, that ensures that one individual plan per property can be executed and carried out. One of the other things that owner of the LLC elected to do is, instead of owning the LLC and being the managing member, her or his self, that LLC owner elected to create a revocable living trust, which will now serve as the managing member of the LLC. So I'm going to show you really quickly why this is important. So most people think that an LLC creates this mystique or this impenetrable shield of from liability. But most people are unaware how the LLC actually works. So in the state of Illinois, if you are doing business, there is a legal requirement that that business has been registered with the Illinois Secretary of State. And anyone can find out about that business. It is very simple to do. All you have to do is go to Google and type in Illinois Secretary of State business search. And once you've typed in Illinois Secretary of State business search, it'll bring up the option to search for a business entity. You then click business name and you can type in any LLC. So let's just type in property solutions. That's a very common construction. And let's look at this top one. So we have Property Solutions Group LLC, which is active. The registered agent is Roxanne Gardner. And we're going to now be able to take a look at the address, 900 South Frontage Road. So that's kind of a general address. That's probably not a physical location. But we now see that Roxanne Gardner is also the managing member. So for purposes of wanting to file a lawsuit, I know that Roxanne Gardner is the managing member. And if Roxanne Gardner has ever taken a payment from a client and not necessarily deposited it into the Property Solutions Group LLC business checking account, then I can penetrate what is called the corporate veil, because Roxanne Gardner isn't technically and legally functioning as a business the way that the state of Illinois requires. So it's very easy for someone to find out the details of your business, even though you've created an LLC. And most experienced attorneys know how to quickly, during the discovery phase, penetrate what's called the corporate veil, which was established by the LLC. Now, as an alternative, what it is that we'd like to do, and again, I'm just going to search Illinois Secretary of State business search, is that we're going to once again search for a name, but this time we're going to search VDoctor. And VDoctor is a client who our office has assisted with numerous legal matters. So when you go to the VDoctor LLC, again, it's important that it be an LLC and not a corporation. There are much stricter laws in the state of Illinois for corporations. So if you're functioning as a corporation and there's only one director or one board member or one corporate officer, then you're already running afoul of the Illinois Corporations Act. The LLC was created for small business owners. So that's the business type or the entity type that you should be utilizing. When we click on the VDoctor LLC, Secretary of State's going to require us to solve a quick puzzle to make sure that We are people and not just hacks. And apparently I'm not doing a good enough job. There we go. All right, so I've done this. So now for the V Doctor, once again, we've got a general address. That's a great approach. We don't want to have our personal home address. So in the case of this one, I can tell you that this is more than likely going to one of the business addresses which exist. Instead of the V Doctor, whomever is responsible for the V Doctor showing up as the registered agent, there's a law firm here. It's a law firm that I'm very familiar with. Our office serves as the registered agent. Whenever mail is sent out, it comes to our office. We then scan it and forward it to the V Doctor. But the key part is when we go to the V Doctor's managing member, we have the V Doctor Revocable Living Trust. So now no one gets an opportunity to see who's responsible for this business. None of the details of the names of the individuals who may be the managing members of the V Doctor LLC show up. Now, one of the reasons why this is also important is because, remember, Roxanne Gardner is a human being and she may pass away. So let's say that Roxanne Gardner has $200,000 in Property Solutions Group LLC business account. If she is to pass away, someone then has to go to probate court for the estate of Roxanne Gardner and then has to apply for what are called letters of office through the petitioning process through probate court. Roxanne Gardner's estate will eventually receive that $200,000, but any of Roxanne Gardner's creditors or any of the business's creditors now have the capabilities to file a claim against the estate and they get paid first. Furthermore, that money's just going to go to her heirs and without any restrictions, without any rules. And if they take that money and spend it instantly, then all of the wealth that Roxanne Gardner worked to accumulate just gets burned up right away. Whereas in the case of the V Doctor LLC, because the Revocable Living Trust is already established as the managing member, inside of the trust agreement, it spells out who is to take over as the successor trustee in the event that something happens to the owners. And furthermore, it articulates who is to reap the benefits of the trust in the event that something happens to the managing members for the V Doctor. So this way, no one has to go through the probate process. And even more importantly, none of the creditors of the managing members nor of the business would be able to penetrate the trust account, the account that's set up in the name of the trust. So now all of those funds would go to the beneficiary. The last part of this is that the V Doctor's managing members have set up a plan which says that those funds are to be used to create a trust fund. So the beneficiaries are now going to receive a check every single subsequent year after the passing of the business owners that continuously goes up and up and up. And it's simply from the funds which were accumulated in the business checking account as well as the trust fund checking account, both of which have already been set up. This is how you can protect your LLC from potentially having people penetrate the corporate veil. But most importantly, you can have adequate and proper succession planning set up for your business. This service is something that Financial Freedom and Legal Services offers for a flat fee. Our office will take responsibility for creating the trust agreement, creating the certification of trust, creating the articles of amendment, submitting the articles of amendment to the Illinois Secretary of State, and then ensuring that your business is properly and adequately protected from all creditors as well as potential clients who might want to file lawsuit against you. This is how, once again, we can create generational wealth from entities such as our small businesses. If by chance you're interested in having your business set up in the proper manner and to create a trust fund that lives on forever, please reach out to our firm, Financial Freedom and Legal Services, and we would be happy to assist in getting this set up for yourself. Thanks so much and have a great weekend, all.